One of the most frustrating things in Battlefield 1 close quarter combat is often losing gunfights down to your opponent spamming the F key, which in this case is the melee button. I probably just triggered a lot of emotions for anyone who plays Battlefield 1 regularly and can sympathize with this statement. Well, now that I got your attention, I'll go ahead and state the purpose of this video, which is the melee system and how I would like to see it improved from Battlefield 1. Now, I don't absolutely hate the melee system in Battlefield 1, I think it's actually the best in the entire series. For the first time in the entire Battlefield franchise, we finally get different melee classes. In previous games such as Battlefield 4, equipping a machete was no different from your standard combat knife. Sure, it looked cool, but it offered no variety or statistical differences to warrant you choosing one melee weapon over the other. But everyone ran the bipod knife in the end because, honestly, who doesn't want a bipod on their knife? But you get the point, melee choice in previous games was merely a choice of cosmetics. The introduction of class-based melee weapons was the best addition the franchise has ever seen in terms of melee combat. It actually made different melee weapons unique, and for them to fit in different niches. Hatchets and shovels offered high damage and the option to destroy wood or wire, but were very slow with a short melee distance. Combat knives were agile, quick, with long range, but had no ability to destroy wood or barbed wire. Clubs were the middle ground, offering a nice balance between the two, but sacrificing the ability to cut wire for simply breaking down wood. For once in a Battlefield title, not all melee weapons were skins of one another, and the weapons actually performed how you expect them to. I guess I'll use this time to also touch up on the bayonet charge as well. In Battlefield 1, throughout all the nerfs that it has gotten, it is still used as a cheese tactic by many players in CQB. You still get those panic bayonet charges every now and then, and before it's too late you're stuck into a death animation. Not to mention that it's extremely easy to maneuver during the bayonet charge, and you have a lot of time to do the charge as well. It is confirmed that the bayonet charge is back in Battlefield 5, and will take up a gadget slot. Now, I would like to see its overall duration time decreased and also make it a straight direct charge as well, so that will help to stop the annoying around the corner instant death machines. If it were up to me, I would remove the bayonet charge entirely, but if they manage to implement it right to not make it outright cancer, then I can live with it. With that out the way, let's continue on with the rest of the melee system. The problem with the melee system in Battlefield 1 is the fact that the whole system in itself is far too reactionary. Rather than more of a conscious choice by the player, melee in Battlefield 1 is nothing more than a crutch to secure bad players who cannot compete in close quarters the ability to win any engagement, granted that they are on low health. Now, shooting someone will always be more effective than meleeing someone from 100 health to 0, but the problem lies that it's a crutch. Players who spend all their ammunition and sloppy aim simply resort to pressing the F key to score a quick 30 or so damage and lock their enemies into a death animation. Yes, this animation leaves the attacker vulnerable, which balances it out, but sometimes this doesn't even work, as I'm sure a lot of you experienced those melee takedowns and bayonet charges that should have gone through an animation but ended up being nothing more than a simple swipe. And this pretty much negates the entire balancing factor around melee combat. I think a very easy and bare bones solution to fix this problem is to require the player to actively pull out your melee weapon to use in combat. For example, you have to pull out your sidearm or primary weapon and then fire it. Why should melee weapons be any different? Also, equip times to differentiate melee weapon types, with knives being the fastest. This solution can also apply to grenades as well, but that's a topic for another video. Having to actively equip your melee weapon both increases the skill required by the player to use it effectively and directly decreases the number of gunfights won by players spamming the melee key. It makes melee combat a tactical addition to the overall gunplay of the game while not detracting from it, as we see in Battlefield 1 and prior titles. Another thing that I forgot to mention is the atrocious aim assist given when striking with a melee weapon. Regardless of platform in Battlefield 1, your soldier will automatically snap to the nearest enemy, striking him immediately. I think this is a major role in the number of melee deaths in Battlefield 1. I have no idea whose bright idea was to have this in the game. It does not offer any overall skill to the melee system, but actually decreases the skill needed to land a hit, as the game is physically moving your aim towards the target. We don't need aim assist. We have mice and we can aim perfectly fine. We're not playing on console where our thumbs dictate how well we aim. Aim assist with melee weapons only decreases the skill ceiling with them and makes melee all the more easier for the bad player who couldn't land his shots on the enemy. This needs to be entirely removed for the next game. At the end of the day, I think using Battlefield 1's melee system as a baseline to build upon, while also introducing the changes mentioned, will help to keep melee combat in Battlefield 5 both unique and tactical. And hopefully we don't have to suffer yet another game release plagued by a flawed and broken melee system. If you enjoyed this video or have any thoughts on the topics discussed today, let me know by leaving a comment down below. Subscribe for more, and as always, it's been Bloodhound, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.